Перше, це те, що ми запустили мобільний додаток для Android та для Apple, тобто ви можете скачувати, там будуть всі лекції, всі воркшопи, всі конкурси, все, що відбувається в CANactions. Там ви можете між собою спілкуватися, коментувати і так далі. Тобто це дуже і прикольна соціальна мережа, де ви можете обмінюватися думками і черпати нову інформацію. Також у нас зараз дуже багато можливостей в плані конкурсів. У нас наразі 3 конкурси молодих архітекторів для випускників, які можуть представити свої проекти студентські. Також це конкурс переосмислення публічних зон у Києві для неархітекторів скоріше. І конкурс на найкращу концепцію публічного туалету в місті Житомирі. Теж дедлайни дуже скоро спливають, тому, будь ласка, слідкуйте за новинами. Так, і... Ой. I think you can change it. So today we are welcoming Mirjam from Switzerland. And she's the tutor of CANactions School Studio 2. She's currently working with students. And thank you very much for coming and welcome to CANactions.
Thank you for the intro. Now we have to wait a little bit. I'm sorry. It's no. Here. Okay, now it should work. Okay, first of all, I'm very happy to be here, and I have to say in the last days, they were very inspiring for me. I had an amazing time here, and I'm really surprised and very happy to see all these engaged and talented students here. We had very good discussions, and the students are very eager to push their project further, and I'm looking forward for the outcomes of this week and, of course, of the whole studio. Next to this, I also want to say that I'm also amazed about all the people from CANactions. They are super high motivated, and it's really amazing what they have put up here. So now about me, I'm Mirjam Niemeyer. I'm an architect and urban designer. And I'm partner of the office called Helsinki Zurich. We are architects and urban designer and work in this field. And we are located in Zurich and Helsinki. That's the reason for the name also. These two cities, they represent two very different contexts, I would say. Zurich is located in Central Europe, standing for traditional background with a long history and a political society which is very open, and people are integrated in the political process. On the other hand, Helsinki is located in Northern Europe, standing for a Central European country, which is with a quite young society, forward-looking and open-minded. On top of that, we are working internationally, and apart from working in Central and Northern Europe, we are also working we have had projects in Asia and Russia. For us, working internationally is very inspiring, but of course also challenging. We learn from the different contexts, and we can bring important know-how from our background. This result is what we call a cross-fertilization between different backgrounds, and we think this adds value to our projects. The 5 aspects I want to talk about today are actors, visions, process, places, and community. These main aspects are main aspects which make a successful urban project. But before that, I want to talk also about sustainability briefly, because this is a baseline for our projects, and it's kind of implemented in everything we do in a way. Why sustainability? Sustainability is, I would say, a common sense nowadays, because of climate change we need to reduce CO2, and that's why we also need to change our thinking and use resources in general in a smarter way. But there are two aspects of sustainability which are especially interesting for us. One is connectivity. When I'm talking about connectivity, especially the public transportation networks and their nodes and hubs are interesting for us because they offer the chance to activate the streets and support also local business. The other aspect we are quite interested in is diversity. Talking about diversity, I mean I'm talking about the mix of uses, but also a demographic, cultural and social mix. These working or like integrating diversity in projects offers the chance to create a more vivid environment. This project, I don't know, maybe some of you know already, is a project in Zurich. It's called Kalkbreite. It is a project which was, I chose this project because it showcases a good example for sustainability, and in that way that it integrates very much aspects of sustainability. This building is, what to say about this building? First of all, I can say I'm working in that building today, and I'm also living in that building. And this building was finished just 2 years ago. And I have been also before that part of the process to develop the operational concept for that building. And this process was about finding out how to enhance community life in that building, or even support the people or motivate the people to even reduce their energy consumption. The project was initiated by a young local housing collective. They were wondering what to do with an open tram depot. You can see a tram on this image, wondering what to do with this open tram depot. It was in the middle of the city of Zurich, and Zurich had or still has an ongoing need for housing. So what they did is they established a housing collective and decided to build on top of the tram depot housing. So today there are around 100 apartments in that building, 4 bars and restaurants, a couple of shops. There's a cinema actually also in that building, and there's a kindergarten and even a place to give birth. So we make jokes between with the neighbors that actually there's no reason anymore to leave that building because everything is in that building. So next to this, the building uses resource-efficient construction methods, renewable sources of energy, low area requirements, only 34 square meters per person are needed. This is a very low number. In Switzerland, the average number is around 50 square meters per person. Next to this, they have a special mobility concept because all the residents, they had to undertake not to own a car when signing the contract to rent space. And next to this, there's also lots of communal rooms in that building, and they are there in order to enhance the communal life in that building. So neighbors can meet and they can do events, they can do parties and all these things in that building, in these rooms. Also special is about the process of renting the flats in the beginning, because all tenants of the buildings, they were chosen in order to fulfill a certain mix of cultural background, age and also living model. The idea was that the future residents of that building, they represent the average of the Swiss society. After 2 years, I can say this project is a really success. It was very skeptical, and the public was very skeptical about it, but now it really became an important part of the city of Zurich. This is just a short example, or like one part of the work we have been doing during this operational process. This is showing like the consumption of energy in Switzerland. The first column is showing that. The second column is showing like how much reduction you just do by actually moving to that building. And the two others are about like questions we posed ourselves, how to furthermore reduce energy by changing our daily habits. And this is just an image showcasing the mix of uses and the different forms of livings which the building should attract and also attracts today. Okay, so now coming to my points. The first point I want to talk about is actors. For us, it is very important that the people tell us what to do or what they want. Because all stakeholders have special interests and values. To make a project successful, collaboration and its process are very important. So we listen to the stakeholders and want to know their opinion on what we do. Because we think all projects should create value, and you can't create value if you don't know what the people want. And so the only way to go is to integrate them to the project and make them also a part of it. This is a project which we did around 2 years ago. It's called AgloLac, or our project title for this was actually OpenLac. It is a good example of how to combine different interests and values. The main actors of that project were especially these two cities, Biel and Nidau. They are located in western Switzerland, in the French-speaking area. And over the last decades, these two cities grew together to a huge agglomeration, or a quite huge agglomeration. Today this agglomeration has 27 communities and around 100,000 residents. The center of this agglomeration is the city of Biel. You can see the borderline is this like turquoise line going through the city fabric. So now looking at our site, the border of the two cities is directly touching our site. And the site is, as you can see, is located directly at the water and very close to the main station. And it has, at the moment, an open access to the lake. The city fabric of the two cities, it really reaches to the edges of the site. And the use on the site itself, it is quite heterogeneous. There's a park, and this round, like moon formed thing is a so-called body. It's like an open swimming pool for the public. And then there are also like abandoned or waste areas and some existing uses also. This site has a huge importance to the citizens because in the year 2002, this site was a part of the Swiss National Expo around the lake of Neuchâtel. So that's this lake. And because of that, or during this expo, lots of, as you can see, temporary structures were built and events took part. And it was a huge success with acknowledgement over the borders of Switzerland. After this expo, the hopes were raised, like and everyone had high expectations on how to develop the site and what it could be. So the city decided to start an open process and integrate the public, and also searched for investors because they had no means to develop anything on the site. So the interests of the actors were, on the one hand, the public wanted to keep this openness and accessibility of the waterfront as much as possible. The politicians, they wanted to leave their name in history, of course, like they often want, and by doing something good for the public. And on the other hand, the investors, they wanted to create as much square meters as possible. So what we did is we created a maximum of public space, like really the maximum of all the projects. It was an ideas competition, actually, an international one, where we made the second prize. And we really, and we created in these open spaces or public spaces, we created spaces where people can meet, spend their time and organize events. Here you see like the plan, the overall plan. The open spaces are formed by a dense urban structure which integrates all the existings on the site. The existing buildings, they have like a black dot. From almost every building, you have views towards the lake and water channels. The whole area is planned to be walkable and almost completely car-free. The big park, like coming from the castle, connects the city center, like the main station, and also the historic city center of the city of Nidau towards the lake, and ends in this body, which should be open in the future. Because at the moment it has a fence, but we propose that it should be open. And along the channel, this water channel develops a promenade with services and restaurants and a square. And the square on the this yellow one is created around the existing restaurant. And the idea is that there is space for the future, for all the citizens of the city, basically, to have events and maybe even a weekly market. This is like a sketch how this event square, or like this new square, could look like, with the promenade and the water channel. And this is an image showing the situation when you come from the city center and walk towards the lake, with also the views towards the mountains around the lake of Neuchâtel. Second point I want to talk about is about visions. We believe that visions are the best tool to move people, because they visualize the common goals of a project. And we also think that visions should aim high. Like Daniel Burnham said, make no little plans, they have no magic to stir men's blood, and probably themselves will not be realized. So the image should be like so desirable that everyone wants to realize it. This is a project explaining this from the project point of view. The project is called Niederfeld. It is situated also in Switzerland. Dietikon is a small community northeast of the city of Zurich. Niederfeld, or the Dietikon, is part of the agglomeration of Zurich. And the agglomeration, the whole agglomeration develops around the lake, towards the airport, which you can see on the northwest, and then in the valley of Limmat, direction Baden, another city, the next city. So this is actually how the region interprets the situation or sees the situation. They developed the vision out of this development corridor between the mountain chains and along the rail tracks and the river. they developed this idea of the so-called Limmatalstadt. The Limmatalstadt is like is touching many different communities, and in order to push this development further, they decided to make an infrastructure project. It's called Limmatalbahn. So it's a tram line connecting actually all these communities in between, and also in the end connecting to the city center of Zurich. Here you can see Dietikon and Spreitenbach, and the site what I'm talking about is just in between. So on the local level there was no vision what to do with this. And so when we started to work with on the project, we developed a set of design scenarios in order to test the strongest idea and test the strongest idea. Our vision was based on three concepts. On the one hand, to create a park as connector between the existing urban areas, the Niederfeld itself, and the surrounding landscape. And an urban axis developing along the tram line. The tram line is going from the city center through this like southeast point, and then continuing towards the north. And an internal loop binding the three neighborhoods together. Next to that, we also developed like a programmatic mix for the whole area, like trying to connect to the city fabric with housing, and then fading it into the more industrial areas from the neighboring communities, focusing on small trade and little factories, because there's a need in this region for that. This is the internal loop, explaining or like showing the idea that there is like an internal connection between all the three neighborhoods, and in addition to that, there are also like hotspots or like squares created where people from the neighborhoods can meet. This whole thing, or the whole loop, is thought to be walkable, so it's car-free, and everything can be reached within 5 minutes. This is an image showing the idea of the urban axis, which develops along the tram line. The tram line will be an important orientation point in the future, and because of actually the catalytic effect of tram lines, the idea is also that along the tram line there will be services located in the future, and this part of the whole development will be like the most urban area. This is the image of this Niederfeld Park, the new park. This will be like a new orientation point in terms of leisure for the community, where people can meet, and also connects, of course, with that function better to the old and the new neighborhood. Okay, the next part I want to talk about is process. Oh, sorry, that's too fast. So when talking about process, it always is about how and when to get there. And there are two aspects of a process always. One is the planning process, and the other one is the implementation process. Processes are very dependent actually on the people who are involved in the process. And one aim of a process is also to integrate these people as much as you can, so that they are able to follow up or like take this thing in their own hands and develop it further when, yeah. So our approach to this is integrative, meaning that the urban designer is a mediator between the actors. So we're not going there and telling like we should do it like this, but we actually try to understand what the different interests are. So with that we integrate the irrelevant stakeholders and interests. This is like a picture showing this approach a little better. Like in the beginning there's an idea, and the goal of the whole process is of course to define the shared values and sharpen this idea. And in the end you create actually more value, and you have in the best case everyone on the boat. This project is called Aviapolis, and it explains this idea. It is a so-called, you can also say it is an airport city. The site is here, just to orientate. So, because of the location, it is because of the location, it is an airport city. Because it is directly influenced by the development of the airport. And the site itself, it is actually located around or just on top of a new fast connection to the city of Helsinki, and there will be also a station. And when we started, the client gave us this brief. Please create something that is better than a standard business park. So it was not very much, and we had to actually start to design the process, how to get to that added value. So we started a lot of workshops and discussions with the clients, and also integrated a lot of other people, like kinds of organizations, institutions we thought they could be interested in, and tried to find out on different levels what this place could be in the future. Beside that, maybe to add to this, next to this we also had to develop a roadmap how to get there. In parallel, we also produced a series of design concepts to test our ideas and also see how all these actors react on it. Design concepts they were very wild, as you can see, like closed city, branded city, pixel city, spiral city, just to name some of them. yeah, for Helsinki actually. Helsinki airport is that's the short version. So that's why I just have one L. Yeah. So this is the result of it. It is actually there are actually there were two products to it. On the one hand, it was a robust master plan that allows for flexibility in the realization process, because it was a lot of things that were not clear when we started. And this idea of this robust master plan and also flexibility was to react on the future changes in needs on the one hand. And on the other hand, we designed we developed a design manual with some kind of guidelines to ensure the future development spatially but also programmatically. Yeah, now this process is already 6 years old, and so we are standing 6 years after the beginning of this whole process. We are still involved in 2 key projects in that area. What you see here is a new building for the National Aviation Museum, which will be relocated on the site in the next years. And this is another key project we are involved in, working on. It is about a future bus stop connecting with the fast connection line towards the city. The fourth point I want to talk about is places. So when we talk about places, we don't mean only the physical space. If a specific identity and role is added to a space, then it becomes a place. What I wanted to say with this is that the design of the physical environment is very important, because places are designed for people and they should like to appropriate with the places. In our project, we try to integrate these places. Connected and activated places can play an important role for the livability of the city. This project is in Helsinki, in Finland, northeast of Helsinki. It's in the city center of Kouvola. And the theme of this project was the revitalization of the dysfunctional modernistic city center. The city is located around 150 kilometers northeast from Helsinki, and the town originally grew up around the junction of the north, south and east-west rail tracks. It was also a major road transportation junction between Helsinki and St. Petersburg. Today, Kouvola is infamous for its brutalist architecture and a rather high crime rate. Since the city is not growing, our strategy was based on a non-growth scenario. So when we started to work, we searched for the existing local assets, aspirations and potentials. What we found there were a series of places with potential to be connected to each other and combined the aspirations with the existing city fabric. All these places, we started to, when we found them and gathered and clustered them, we found like 3 groups, and they were transformed into 3 spatial strategies, which we developed into 2 tracks, which are parallel, running through the city center. So there's this red track, and there's the yellow track, and this blue track. And the red track is based on like more like shopping and the most active part of the city. And the yellow is more leisure-based with nature-related activities, and the blue one is more like culture-orientated, integrating some old historic buildings and ending at the place where the city hall is located. In addition to that, so this is a same picture actually. In addition to that, we also added interventions. The intervention were an improved railway station area in the south with a new travel center, a redeveloped central square, that's this one, and then north of it a new market hall. Market halls are very, they still play an important role in Finnish cities. And next to it, a canopy. This is, of course, also due to the weather conditions in northern European countries, quite important. And on top of that, in the north, further north, we created a cultural node, which developed around the city hall and an old school building, which is reused. This is an image of this situation of the new square and the market hall and this canopy. This is the situation around the main station with the new travel center. And this is the future idea about this cultural square in the north of the pedestrian area. And here an overview about it, how this activation could spread also to the rest of the city and hopefully activates it more. Okay, the fifth point and the last point actually I want to talk about is about community. We believe in a people-focused approach because we think as architects we have the possibility to influence people's behavior with the design decisions we do, and so meaning like with the way we design spaces we can also influence how people move and how they appropriate also to things. So in the end, one can result that with design we can bring people together and support them to interact, so community life can grow. This is actually now an interior design project. It's called Balboa Gym, coming from Rocky Balboa. That was the idea of the founders of that gym. And these people, when they started, their main focus was on the one hand, of course, about making a gym, but on the other hand, really thinking about interaction between people. So they decided on purpose that in the gym there won't be any kind of machines where you can, just train your muscles, but when you want to train your muscles, you have to use your own body or actually also use the body of someone else, but it's always about, interaction. Sounds quite weird, and it was actually also, I can just right now say it was actually, it's a huge success, especially in this quite, now I can say it, I'm not Swiss, and the quite stiff, sometimes quite stiff situations which between people. People are more distant in Switzerland, so it kind of it got a nerve. It found a nerve. So that's what they do. So they're trying a little bit crazy ways of doing sports, as you can see. So they do human pyramids, and they go out of their space and they run around in the city. So it's often a part of their trainings that they start inside, but at some point they go outside and they run around and even sometimes start to talk with people in the street when they are in the city. So what you see here on this image is actually where they started. They just started 1.5 years ago, and their slogan is that Balboa aims to support people by physical movement to more mental and social mobility. So this area is, okay, I have to say more about this. So where they are now located is a neighborhood in the so-called Langstraßenquartier. It's an area which has a very bad, or used to have a very bad reputation. It is an old workers' neighborhood close to the city center, and it was especially famous for drug dealers and prostitution, but also turned in the last 10 years into a hip area of Zurich. But still has this kind of things. Next to being in this garage, in this reused garage, in this Kreis 5, they wanted to open up another fitness studio, which is actually on the opposite side of the city. It is in the banking area of Zurich. So it's close to the Bahnhofstraße, where you can buy all these luxurious goods, and people are running around with suits. It's a totally different atmosphere. As I said, Balboa touched a nerve with their idea of interaction, and so all the spatial decisions, and when we came into the project, we were of course very excited about what they do, because it's a new way of doing it, and also a nice way, what we think. so all the spatial decisions we took were taken in order to support an informal way of getting people together. So actually what you see here is a window, or like the first important decision was to have a bar which will be an address on its own and not this typical integrated gym bar you find in every gym around the world, like where you get your protein shakes and all these things. So in this bar, and this was also developed together with the client, you will get alcohol and drinks, and you will get greasy stuff, and you get you can buy all these unhealthy things. And when you get back from your training, maybe you even go to this bar just to have a drink and go drunken home, but or have a party. But it's not. So this will be, the bar itself will be also a destination. When you enter the space, there is a big window on the floor, and this window provides a view to the basement where the gym classes are happening. So everyone who is taking a gym class also has to go to the bar, and people who are taking the gym class, they see the people drinking upstairs. So the bar itself is actually extended to a communal table. That's what you see in the end. So in one part the people are working, and in the extended version, in the extension of the bar, people are actually hopefully mingling in the future, so they feel actually that they become a part of the bar. So they can also stand on the other side and be part of that bar crew. This is an image of downstairs, showing the mixed zone. And what you see in the back with these bees, that's the logo of their gym, are the doors for the toilets. So people from the bar, they are next to that, they see that something is happening downstairs when they enter the place. They are actually also forced to go downstairs and stand in the middle, almost in the middle of the gym class when they go there. So people in front of there, where you see these brown boxes, they will stretch or they will wait for the classes to happen, and so people will really they have to meet each other. And here's the image about the situation when you go down the stairs to the gym area. And important in this image is this water bassin in the back. It is positioned at a place where it's actually quite narrow. So when people are having their gym classes, they have to find their way and hopefully also get in contact, filling up their bottles and so on. This is showing the main area, the heart, the temple, how the fitness trainer, how the founders of Balboa are calling it. This space is next to having some kind of weird equipment, like kind of these things from the playgrounds that you can hang and you can be on the wall and climb over it. Next to these things, the space is left quite empty, or as empty as it can be, so that it's possible to also hold events in that place and to show a movie or to give lectures or even just dance in that place. So this is the end. With this, I'm coming to the end. I thank you very much for the attention. So if there are questions, I'm open to discuss or open to, yeah?
Your interest is so wide. What is mainly? I mean, from urban planner to interior designer, what is close?
This is a good question, but I know an answer to it. It's very funny because of the partners, like Tommy and me, we have a background in interior design, and we started with interior design. Tommy especially has a quite long track record with interior design. He did a lot of club projects in Helsinki, where he's coming from. And I also did some in Germany. And we both at some point we decided that actually this urbanity, this aspect of, because you are really like, when you design these places, you are confronted with, with everything someone touches and sees. So basically this. And it's funny, but we both had decided that we want to study urbanity more, but on a bigger level. And we still see a connection between this interior design and the urban design, because it's about spaces, or like places in between. Architecture is maybe I think architecture has least to do with this, because architecture is in the end often more about designing facades and these things, and more like making construction work. But whereas urban design and interior design, it's about these in-between spaces, designing them and think about how people can appropriate it.
I have a small question about this project in the north of Zurich. Why you decided to build the tram line on the trolleybus line?
Oh, actually, that's something we didn't decide. It was decided on the regional level. It was actually like the initiator for the project. So I can show you again. So on the regional level, okay, it doesn't work. So, but anyway, so on the regional level, there was this all these small communities. They were growing together in the last decades, and the region realized that they have to do something about it. And they have to think about a sustainable way of mobility also. And so they decided to create this tram line. I mean, a tram line is a very downtown city tool, let's say. And this is also the reason why they decided it, actually, because on the strategic level they said this whole agglomeration of all the small communities, it will be a city, the so-called Limmat Valley city, and the tram line is like a logical consequence of this. So we didn't decide it; it was decided, and our job was actually to find out what would be the answer to a tram line being on that empty field, actually.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question? In your project, there's a lot of things like you try to connect places and people and make them interact. Is it really a problem in your country that people don't talk with each other, or why is that?
Yeah, actually, I think now there's actually one, we talk about, at least talking about Finnish society and Swiss society. I think they have actually some common thing. They have this, that they are quite distant to each other. So people are doing hard to get in contact with each other. In Switzerland, I think that's also the reason why all these housing collectives, they have such a they are so attractive for people, because this is a housing collective. A collective is also kind of supporting, offers platforms that people get together and start to talk with each other. And the same thing is also goes also for Finland. That in Finland there's also a wish. Everyone wishes to be close to the other or gets to know the other, but in the end they are doing hard doing it. Yeah. Yeah, it's probably a little different. I mean, when I was walking through Kiev in the last days, I think people are easy. They just meet in the street and they stand together and they talk a little bit. Yeah, it's not like this in Switzerland and Finland. Oh, it's not okay. Maybe it's a wrong impression I have.
And what for before this project you were chosen like directly from the developer, or it was from the government?
Which project? Like
project.
okay, different. They were different. So some are directly like that you get in contact with someone and. Like direct contacts, some, as I said, like this Agrolak competition, this was an international ideas competition, urban design ideas competition, where you had to submit projects, and then, then there were 10 chosen, and 5 were chosen, and they were working on in a second phase. And some are like that you first you apply with your references as the office, and then just a couple of offices are taken, and then they work on this project. So there are different ways to start the work.
First of all, thank you very much for the lecture, and I want to know what is your impression about the places in between in Kiev? Yes, I don't know if you got the chance to walk around and really see, but maybe there were very brilliant impression of places in between Kiev.
Yeah, actually, I have to say I've not had the chance, not so much chance to look at them. But as I said, I'm living quite close to the school. And on the way here, I saw that public spaces are used, people are sitting there, and I also had the impressions that they start to talk on the street, but maybe I'm not right. But so far, I didn't have so much time. I was just getting a coffee on the way to the school, and I was also working hard in the last days and had intense discussions with the students, so maybe next time I will have more chance to discover this. Yeah?
I would like to ask about this project with many different variants of the same area. It's about 20 different variants, and it's an urban project. I think this,
This one?
This. And the question is, who is the commissioner, who is the client? Because you did huge amount of work analyzing process between people living there, between the different communities, and it's a massive work to do to receive this result. With the client, what is the result of your work actually? I don't know if it's a competition. Or
It was a competition, yeah. So it was a competition, and it was our decision to do it. So to really understand the city, because we when we were there the first time, we were like, okay. It didn't seem to be easy. We really had to dig and to find all as much possible all possible assets of that place. We also did a lot of phone calls to people to understand what could be like the seed to develop more urban life.
how you get the information?
Yeah, like walking around, talking with people, taking pictures, like this kind. Doing research, of course, what you could find on the internet.
And how many people was involved?
I think four people.
Thank you.
Nobody has questions, I think we can move to informal communication, but we now will go to the
Okay.
official part. Thank you very much for coming.
You're
and for your
welcome.
time.
Thank you.